Alright guys, what's up? Doing another little one-down solo here. Working on Birth of Sky this time around. This heist took me, well, a few more attempts than I'd like to admit. This one actually gave me a lot of trouble, particularly the sewers. That's actually where most of the difficulty in this heist comes from, for me anyway, was like once I got down into the sewers, I would very quickly get overwhelmed and not be able to really do much of anything about it. So.
Excellent. The increased drag will slow the plane and force the pilot to fly lower, as expected.
Nothing too fancy here in the cargo plane part, really just wanting to get to the button as fast as possible. It's just far more efficient to run past all these guys than it is to waste your time trying to kill every single one of them.
Telemetry from the money now. Right on target. Oh, why don't you grab those parachutes there? And out the door you go.
I had a few runs go kind of bad at this part, because I would get killed by the cops as I was jumping down. It's kind of just luck-based whether you do or not. You can kill these two cops right there in the middle in order to kind of alleviate the likelihood of you going down while you're parachuting, but had a money bundle on top of the truck. I actually hadn't had that in any of these runs up until this point, so I thought that one was kind of strange. So I just went ahead and decided to get it out of the way since it was probably going to be the hardest one to try to get hooked up. So kind of an interesting thing about this heist that I had learned from reading the long guide is after you've initiated a pallet of money, only enemy spawns, or like the 2, possibly 3 enemy spawns that are closest to the pallet will actually be active. Meaning that you can go across the map and no enemies will actually be spawning where you are on the other side of the map, even though they're still spawning over by the money pallet. Which then causes them to have to path over to you, or to path to other money bundles and take up a defensive position at ones that you haven't engaged with yet. So a lot of what you'll see me doing throughout this heist is activating a money bundle, turning on the flare, and then just getting out of the area and just leaving instead of staying and trying to defend it, unless it's somewhere really defensible, like the tools warehouse.
Hey, don't forget to strap the fucking money to the dropper. We got a shield! It's a shield! Got the shield now! Drop it now! It's a shield! Those straps are nicely fastened. Don't want lock dropping the loop too early now.
So generally after waiting kind of that was a crappy down. Generally after it's kind of an indiscriminate amount of time, just kind of whenever I felt like it might be safe to go and check, I would go over to the area so that I could see if I could attach the pallet to the helicopter. Of course, it's also slightly important to note that I had really started to get sick of this heist by this point, and I was really trying to force too many runs, which is why it probably took me so many attempts to do this, is because after 2 really close ones, and then the 3rd time I would be burned out and ready to try to force it, and then that would result in a bunch of overly strained runs for me not playing patiently enough, or trying to do things in situations just hoping it would work out in my favor. But so I couldn't get the back of the pallet from where I was standing, so I knew I was going to have to try to run around and get on top of the truck from the back.
That money needs to be tightly secured by the straps before lock can take off.
Drop it now! Hands up! On your knees! Drop it now! Drop it! Drop it now!
Make sure those straps are nicely fastened. Don't want lock dropping the link too early now.
Managed to get to the mid-bag just in time right there before I went back in the swan song.
Hands up! Give me a medic bag! Drop it!
My spectacular accuracy. There we go.
Dozer's here! Shield is down! Dozer!
Shit. Police just called in heavy-duty reinforcements.
We're out!
Glad you guys weathered that storm. It sure was rough for a while. Let's get back up and go to work.
They've got a medic, guys!
At this point I wanted to see if I could just jump straight over the pallet to get to the back one. Didn't realize that I couldn't. Ended up going down.
Bag anyone?
I paused the game out of frustration and just thought about quitting out. I was getting pretty heated at this point because I don't even know how many runs deep I was at this point. This has been across, the course of several days that I've been trying to, get this recorded and done right, and having countless runs go downhill. I was just really getting sick of it. So it's more of a matter of pride to trying to finish this ice before some others at this point. I finally got this money pallet after spending I don't even know how many downs on it, and just decided to try to stick with this run, even though it started off really, really bad as far as I was concerned. So I don't throw my med bag down just yet because I want to put it in a better position, one that I'll probably be at a lot later in the run. So I continued over to the tool warehouse, made sure nobody was in here. And there were people, so I decided to clear it out. I was really careful not to, since the broken money bundle was in here, and this is a really easy place to defend, I didn't want to detect that money bundle and have to start throwing the cash piles into the pallet. So I made sure not to see that one, even though I clearly did, and I just wanted to go find the other open one really quickly, which it was just right here in the car shop, which is not one of my preferred ones. I really am not a fan of the car shop, but primarily because I almost always go down when I'm trying to get to the roof. But my convert was up here already, so I was hoping he'd have some of the enemies cleared out. Thankfully he did.
You see a big black fucking chopper? That's me. Unless we're talking about what's hidden in your mum's knicker drawer.
Couldn't hit the sniper.
Taser, stay back! Taser!
Oh, yes.
I just gave up. I couldn't actually see the sniper, I could only see his health values, but I didn't know if his health values might have been slightly offset from where his actual body was. So I just kind of was spraying in a very concentrated area, seeing if I could hit him. But
Hands up!
I wanted to save those two dominated guys for later.
Bracelets on.
Well, except for that one, I wanted to see if I didn't have, or if I had lost one of my converts at that point, but I decided to keep him. I kind of like littering the map with them, because, you know, where the enemies can't. It helps when you're going through an extending fade, if you're able to do that, and it also helps just to have enemies in kind of stable positions across the map, so you have really easy Messiah charges.
Drop it now! Drop it! Drop the gun! Kneel down! Hands up! Whoa! Sniper! Shield outbound!
Ensure all the straps are secure. Don't give Flock an excuse to accidentally drop the money.
Drop it now! Hands up! Kneel! Now cuff!
That money needs to be tightly secured by the straps before Locke can take off.
Thankfully, you can interact with these, with the straps while you're still crouched and don't have to like actually stand up. It probably didn't make too much of a difference, honestly, whether I would have been standing or crouching, but I felt like being crouched made me a little less enticing to hit. I was also able to interact with this last strap at an angle from the side, so I didn't have to step in front of the car.
And it's the second. Oh, I can smell the wealth. But greed is good.
So now at this point, I just needed to get the
Find the third pallet.
third pallet in the tool warehouse, which is the best ones. I got graced with incredible dodge right there. Just ran through an army of shields.
Oh, fuck me with a fire stick. Fucking pallet broke, and we've got fucking bundles of cash scattered around like an old horse knickers. Find them and bang them.
Here I was trying to get a count and see where all of them were at, just so I had a mental note of all the money bags.
Watch out! Sniper! Sniper's down! Goddamn dozer!
I'm also trying not to kill this dozer or any shield enemies that I see, because I know that at this point the assault wave had been in fade or was getting ready to go into fade or whatever. So I was trying to extend that for as long as I could.
Tell you what else would make it easier.
Of course, the assault wave ended just as the objective changed, so kind of convenient timing.
Don't shoot down the big helicopter that's coming in for the money, okay? That's me. Yeah, for sure. I see the flare.
I'll hunker over in this area for
When I'm there, would
a little while.
attach the pellet
Just
the
trying to
helicopter? With all haste,
see if
want
I
that.
can kite any of the enemies around over to this side of the map so I can just run back over and hook the straps to the money bundle. Which, of course, in the position that it's in, it'd be really easy just to attach the straps to the money bundle, even though it'd be in the middle of the assault. But since the tool warehouse is so defensible, in my opinion, it just...
Seeing a lot of SWAT vents rolling in.
I guess it didn't really matter. I just felt safer doing this.
I can't pick you up here, but I have a plan.
What are you thinking?
So I managed to get all the straps on without any difficulties. And then for the super fun part. Of course, saving a med bag so that I
I will meet
have
you
one for when I have to go
here.
down into the
Don't want you
sewers.
bringing the whole fucking cop army. Get in the sewers. I've organised transport.
Doc!
Managed to not get down as going in here. That was nice.
Just in case those sewers have any obstructions, you know?
Taser!
So the sewers on here, just, I don't know, it's grotesque. Hadn't been down here enough to develop any sort of like actual strategy for being down here, and at this point I was kind of just panicking, trying to, you know, throw stun grenades and just move around as much as I can, so I wasn't getting locked in place. Of course, I got really fortunate with a lot of my dodge. I got kind of stuck there, and then this taser tried to ruin my birthday, but I managed to get past him just in time. This guy ticked me off a little bit, trying to melee me and kill me and ruin all my runs. Didn't get feign death, so I had to, use Messiah. But I still had my doctor bag, so I was okay.
Drop it now!
Another crate. So just treat it like you did before. Burn through with the thermal paste.
Fire in the hole! Dozer! Doc!
See that boat? That's your way out. Right there. Yeah, for sure. Get in.
So now here, at this point, my hands were shaking like crazy. And I actually decided to stop in this tunnel for a minute or two, just to try to calm myself down, and so I'd let my health regen from my converts. I was messaging my messaging my friend and telling him that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at the very last part. All I gotta do is get to the escape. That's all I have to do. And he's like, well, quit messaging me, you idiot. Just do it. And so I get out just to, in case, I didn't know if enemies ran through here or not, to be quite honest. I've never stopped in this little tunnel before, so I got out just to be on the safe side in case I needed to shoot at some enemies to kind of push them back while I got on the boat using the locomotive or whatever. But I just wanted to regen my health at pretty much full, that way as I was driving through this next area I would be able to take a few more shots, so I wouldn't go down nearly as quickly. I'd actually forgot that I had hit the doctor bag and had my Messiah charge and thought I didn't have one at this point. So my thought process was, if I go down before I get to the escape, my only hope is going to be feign death. I don't know why I had forgot. I guess because I was just so nervous about about completing this, since I had already put so much time into it and was just really wanting to get it out of the way. So here's the final gauntlet, and I kind of just get eviscerated. I dodge a few, then as I'm going past this last bend, I get put into Swan Song, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll still have enough time. And then as I'm getting closer, I'm starting to realize that I'm not going to have enough time. And I bail right here, and I start running up the hill, and then, yeah, I was heartbroken. And then I got feign death, and I was like, oh, yes! Thank God! So, that was my Birth of Sky run. The first part was really sloppy. Well, honestly, most of it was pretty sloppy. A lot of it was super nervous play and aggravated play, but I finally got it out of the way. Alright, that's all there is to it. Thank you guys so much for watching.